It's time then to be positive out of Twizel. Come on then. It might be snowing. The airports might be cancelling all the flights. It's the worst winter we've had forever and the All Blacks have lost.
Come on. Let's be positive.
Let's be positive.
Just stop right there.
I will.
No negativity.
I won't.
Let's be positive.
How the hell
LBP.
I don't want to be positive, mate.
Be positive.
But it is Monday, so we welcome our most positive man onto the program. I'm positive, Matt, you're positive. What are we going to be positive about?
Martin, I'll tell you what, I'm a little bit positive, but actually I'm a little bit negative. The last 2.5 hours in my role as editor of the Twizel Update, I've been in a community board meeting. I don't know if you've ever been to one. 2.5 hours. I tell you what, I was hoping Yarko Piper was going to bust through the doors, blow his whistle, and at minimum give me a yellow, but at best give me a red card, tell me never to come back. I did eventually escape, and I'm here to talk to you. And actually, I'm already feeling more positive.
Look, I was never born with patience, okay? So, and you were even less patient with me. How long did it go for? 2.5 hours.
No, about 2.5. About 2.5. I mean, you can just imagine. Duck, dive, dodge, duck and dive. That's what's happened at a community board. The projects that were supposed to be planned for or completed 4 years ago are still on the to-do list. And the general manager, he said, can we take some of these off the to-do list? He said,
no,
because we've done a lot of work since then.
Hang on a second,
I said, you can't erase history. You haven't done it yet. Can we leave it still on the list? Do you mind if we leave it on there till you've actually done it, David?
You can't take something off the to-do list when you haven't done it.
No, but they've done a lot of work towards completing it. They just haven't made the completed.
All right.
Oh, I said, come on. I thought he was going to red card me, and even he wouldn't do it.
Look, what say you actually went face-to-face and made physical contact? You must get a red for that.
Oh, well, I maybe should have jumped to charge down one of his stupid kicks that he was trying to put up. I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed the All Blacks match the other night, but I was a little bamboozled because, again, I backed it up with the Australian match, and there was more cards than you know what to do with. And, you know, as much as I'm not saying they got all the decisions wrong, the thing about it is you're never quite sure what's going to happen when they try to decide what decision to make. It's confusing, and that many players off in 2 games. I don't know why. I don't know if ruined is the wrong way to say it, and I don't know if the outcomes would have been different. But you travel to Dunedin, you pay your $100 or whatever else, plus your food, plus your drink, you go away, and you get a game missing so many players. There's got to be some answers that,
totally.
You know.
Yeah. Look, when it's so confusing, mate, with that management and players, commentators, everyone watching doesn't know what the Artie situation is, and then he walks off, runs off confused. You're just sitting there going, this is incomprehensible. You're turning this sport into something that even all of us who've watched it for decades don't know what the hell's going on. How can you possibly take this sport to the Americans and try and sell it?
Well, you can't.
You can't.
If it's confusing to us, surely you take those rules. It's confusing. Has anyone actually come up with a reasonable response to why Artie wasn't allowed back on?
Well, it's because when a prop gets sent off and then you have a scrum, you've got to bring one back on, and so you take a player off. And I think that he was subbed under the rule of taking a player off when a player's back. Yeah. Oh, who the hell would know, mate?
Well, I understand the scrum. I understand the scrum situation, but he wasn't replaced as such. It was an enforced move because of the way the scrum laws work. Now, clearly he becomes an official replacement, but had they have understood that properly, would it have been him they took off, or would they have made a reshuffle? And I think that when that happens in the middle of a game, and you've got people explaining to the manager on the sideline, the manager of the All Blacks, how long's he been the manager?
Shandy's been the manager.
He's so confused.
Yeah, I know.
How can anyone else know what's happening?
And he is such a good dude, Shandy. And I looked at his face and I thought, good Lord, if you don't know, I don't know. Northern Hemisphere 4, Southern Hemisphere 0. The positive thing we can take out of this, if we are being positive, is that we're going to have 4 absolute ding-dong third test matches in each series. The dead rubber, as you know, when you're up 2 and you've got the third one, I mean, it just takes a little bit of tinge out of it, doesn't it? But at least now you've got...
I think that's the beauty of the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
And who thought Ireland would come back like that?
Well, who thought Wales would win in South Africa, mate? Come on.
They tried to say some of the writers over the weekend on Sunday and into today.
Yeah.
But Ireland weren't that far away last week. Well,
No.
they seemed a fair way away to me. But when they arrived, it's Dunedin that lifts the opposition. They thought, we're inside. We can't lose inside. We know what's going to happen. We're covered over. It's not that cold.
That's it.
Maybe they need to take well, actually, Northern Hemisphere, they're probably used to the cold anyway.
No,
but
they play their rugby in the afternoon, mate, like South Africa do.
Yeah.
You know, it's a winter sport. Yeah. They play it in the afternoon. It's only us dickheads down here that don't. Hey, I'll tell you what the other positive thing about...
They didn't in the second half either, did they? They were coming home. They weren't that far away from getting back over the top of England. But, as you say, at least there's another game to watch coming up, which isn't just, do I bother?
The other thing that was positive from the weekend is that Cam George and the Warriors, if they want to slip this, Reece Walsh won't play again for us under the carpet. I'm looking for team naming Tuesday tomorrow, and I reckon Walsh will be named, but that'll be the last time he actually is named for the Warriors. This is the week to do it because everyone's focused on Foster and the All Blacks and things. So if the Warriors want to pull a Swifty, that's positive. That's a positive thing to take out of the All Black loss. Today or tomorrow is the actual week to do it.
Well, they're going to have to do a Swifty over Brisbane Broncos Swifty because the Broncos over the weekend already starting to put Reece Walsh on their social media posts to excite the crowd that they've got him and that the Warriors don't have him. Now, how can they be promoting this player in their uniform when actually he's potentially going to be picked for the Warriors this week? Martin, this stinks to high heaven. It's so bad it's not even funny.
I will quote you a direct quote from Cam George when I put that question to him on Friday. Mate, we're here to talk about Andrew Webster. I'm not here to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it, and there's a reason they don't want to talk about it.
Did he ring the Broncos? Did he ring the Broncos and say, stop making me look foolish? I've got a young teenage journalist trying to make a name for himself, hitting me up with tough questions over here.
See, the
9-time award-winning sports journalist, a young bloke trying to make a name for himself. And you are making me look like I am actually making up everything I say. He's already in Broncos gear, and the smile on his face.
I know, that's what makes me sick.
Unless they Photoshop
it. Look, the whole thing makes me ill. And also, what is even worse is using him to sell tickets to the Warriors games, knowing that you're negotiating with him leaving, it's a con job is what it is. If you went to Consumer Affairs, I reckon you'd have a damn good case to say that's false advertising, mate, is what that is.
Well, I think it is false advertising. I certainly think it is. Either the Warriors are or the Broncos are. One of them is, but either way, they're not scratching each other's back on this one, are they? No. And it is actually embarrassing that he's already involved in publicity photos for another club when he's going to run out this weekend. You watch the team.
I'll tell you, he won't play the season for the Warriors, mate. We already know that. Let's be positive about your mate Nick the Dick. Oh, no. Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to be shading for it about this. I'm not glad that he lost because if he had won, he would have deserved to win. But I got up and I watched the last set of that, and he didn't deserve to win. He was mouthing off and swearing at his box, thinking that was going to distract a guy that's played 32 Grand Slam finals. I felt quite sad for him in the end because I just thought, you're actually a bit pathetic, Nick, is what you are.
Number 40 or number 44 in the world or whatever he is. It's a pretty big achievement actually to get there.
Well, that is brilliant,
sad that he didn't get to play Rafa. But yeah, I mean, the other thing that surprised me is he's hated all week, makes the final, and then he's kind of the lovable road. You know, the media they do jump left and right. You can't keep the same opinion 2 days in a row, can you?
No.
He's broken more rules. I'll tell you one of the things that really annoyed me is one of these, what do they call them, clickbait headlines today, how he was fined at Wimbledon swearing in front of a young royal. Now, he wasn't fined for swearing in front of Prince George or whatever his name is. He was fined for what he did at Wimbledon. Why bring the royal family into it? He's a big enough dick as it is. You make a final. What say he never makes another one? I don't even think he'd been in a semi-final before. Then you do that to yourself. As I talked about the other day, last week, I think he's just accepted that He feels like that's how he gets his sponsors on board.
That's
the
it.
red hat. That's the same thing. And it's covered. Every time he does this, it's just another... I don't know if you would consider it negative or positive publicity for the sponsor. Clearly, they've stuck with him. He's wearing the red hat. He's wearing the different shoes. He's doing his thing. But up and down like a roller coaster, the people that covered that tournament. He's either ridiculous all the way through or he isn't. And I think he is. I'm not sad that he lost. And, well, he made it, didn't he? He can say he was in a Grand Slam final if he ever gets there. Being beaten by Novak, though, who is a man, Mark, that I just can't stand.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're choosing between dick and head, aren't you?
I'm choosing between a compatriot and a guy that I've never liked, and I've gone with a guy that I've never liked. That's how I've been.
Hey, finally, let's be positive about the weather, because I know it's already happened down your place, hasn't it? And look, and when you described to us the last time about 4 pairs of socks and 3 pairs of pants and 2 of this and 2 of that, mate. Well, I mean, I keep sending you texts. I got back from Wellington yesterday. I was in shorts and a t-shirt. In the end, I had to come inside. It was a bit hot, but I'll be moaning over the next couple of days because we're wearing it, man. We'll probably drop to at least 6 tonight. I'd say 6. Not joking.
I've started to scan your messages. And if it starts anything with warm up here or opening the doors on the deck, I just delete it straight away. It's so depressing. A friend of mine rang me from Oamaru today. He said, I'm thinking I've got to come home from Oamaru because they're expecting 40 centimetres of snow and I'm going to have to start shoveling it. And I said, we've still got 10 at my place that fell on Friday that's now frozen solid. If we get 40 centimetres, I won't be able to leave home for the next 2 weeks. Which actually, to be honest, if I make it to the bottle shop before I go home in time, probably won't worry me that much.
And you can always Zoom that next 2.5 hour community board call too, Matt. Thank you so much.